Okay, just push record. Y'all know I forget to do that quite often. The question is asked of me if y'all finish your writing before the due date, is it okay if you go ahead and submit it early? In fact, the due date on there, guys, is the latest I will take it. I will not be stuck trying to grade 50 essays on the last day of school like other people have during the first three quarters. Not doing that. We're actually finishing this up tomorrow. It's actually kind of due tomorrow, Thursday. Um, but I left it open till the 14th just for your benefit. Okay. All right, guys, I had a teacher come see me. Bear with me just a second. I'm going to push mute and I'll be right back. Yes, I'm going to explain the conclusion in just a second. Um, and all the guys, I've got a teacher that come in that's asking me something about credit recovery. So I really, I mean, we've got stuff planned for today. Just bear with me. It's getting crazy around school right now. I just bear with me just a minute or two, okay? Okay. All right, guys, I'm sorry. Um, I had, in case y'all not familiar, kids who didn't do very well in first or second block for whatever reason, first or second quarter, um, they're doing credit recovery right now in hopes of passing eighth grade. Well, I had one of the ladies that's doing the credit recovery right now come ask me about a test that I gave on the outsiders back during the second quarter, and I was trying to find her some information on it. Wasn't Anyway, just a wonderful fun day. So that being said, I've got a couple of questions, most of them in private, and I'm just going to read the questions and then and go from there. Is it okay if I write the first paper and finish it? Is it okay to submit early? I answered that, correct? Good. Okay. Can I explain the conclusion because you've never been able to write a conclusion? Yes, that is honestly the first thing I'm planning on doing today. When I post my writing on School is I have to post a pre-writing since we already did it in class. No, if you know that I'm sure I've got it written down. You know the piece of paper that I was writing grades on when I come around and was checking everything. I will have it there. Um, I think the only thing I'm gonna need is just your final. No, I'm gonna need the last two. Jose, I'll let you know tomorrow. I'll let you know tomorrow what I've seen and what I haven't, what I've got grades on and what I haven't, and tell you what you need to post at that time. That be okay? Okay. All right. So now, trying to get to class. Woo! We having fun yet? All right. So let's talk. Hey, everybody, give me a yep if you're with me. Since I took time, let me make sure I've got everybody with me. Okay. Let me talk about the conclusion for a second, and I'm going to talk philosophically before I actually get to showing you an example. Okay. The conclusion is, if y'all remember what I put in the mic drop, it is. Oh wow, it's been a day, guys. If you remember what I put in the PowerPoint, I said the conclusion is a mic drop. When you write the conclusion, you have proven your argument. You have to go into the conclusion believing that you have won the argument because you have presented clear, reasonable, logical arguments that let you win. You won the argument. So when you go to write the conclusion, I call it a mic drop because anytime you've ever seen an entertainer drop a mic, it's when they were just a touch arrogant, just a touch confident because they knew that they were right. Give me a yep if that makes sense. If you are still trying to prove your argument in the conclusion, that tells your audience, that tells your reader that you don't have confidence that you won. So we do not prove anything inside the conclusion. If you're still trying to prove it in the conclusion, you need to go back to the body and do it better. Okay. Um, Now, one of the things that you've got to do, the only like steadfast rule that you need to do in the conclusion is restate your body paragraph using restate your thesis statement using different terms. My ADD is kicking in today, guys. I apologize. Um, I'm going to share my screen and show you an example of a conclusion, and we're going to talk about it if I can get it done. I'll get there in a second. Woo, having fun. All right. Give me a, well, I got to drop down on chat box first. Give me a yep if you are seeing a paragraph on your screen. I want to make sure that we're all together. Okay, good deal. Now, I didn't write it on here. Actually, I'll write it on here now because this is just a Microsoft Word document. My thesis statement was oh, come on. Because the cost, they are uncomfortable and yeah, well, and I'm erasing stuff. And they are unstylish. Now, just to kind of rehash, this right here, before the word because that's what I am proving. That's what I am proving. Now, everything after because, that's the three legs, and it tells you how I'm going to prove it, right? And we know that these became my three body paragraphs. Give me a yep if that makes sense. You've already got to that point. You're good. Okay. Now, this is the information right here. When I say we're going to repeat or we're going to restate the thesis statement, this is what I'm meaning that we're going to do. We're going to restate this information right here. I don't need to restate the legs, although the legs will probably come up in the paragraph. I think it's best to go ahead and restate the thesis statement using different words as the main idea sentence of the conclusion paragraph. Students should not have to wear any type of uniform that can hinder the learning experience. Now, again, that's basically the same information. Yes or no? Okay. Let's go sentence by sentence here, and I want to show you a couple of things. Students should be able to concentrate on the things at school that actually matter. Do y'all? Okay, this is a very opinionated statement. Okay, it's not a proven statement. Proven means once I give this because. Here's the example I used in class. I picked out a random kid in class and I said, his shoes are ugly. That's an opinion, right? If I say his shoes are ugly because, then anything after the word because becomes my proof. Now, the proof may be weak or it may be strong, but it's proof nonetheless. Give me a yep if that makes sense. If I stop at just the opinion, there's no proof there. It's just opinion. The proof becomes because. Okay? This is just an opinion. Now, if I did my body paragraphs right, I've kind of already proven this. If they were allowed the freedom of being themselves in their own clothes, positive changes would occur. Again, very opinionated, but no proof. Remember, one of my legs was talking about, or pretty much the whole thing is talking about not wearing uniforms. Well, if they're not wearing uniforms, they're wearing their own clothes, right? Allowing freedom. For me, that will come under unstylish. Okay? They were allowed freedom of being themselves in their own clothes. Positive changes would occur. Again, strong statement, no proof. Money would be saved and learning would be improved. Again, just a opinion with no proof that I have already proven right here because of the cost. And here is what the closest I come. Y'all remember me talking about the oh wow as opposed to the yeah? I told you in the introduction, I don't really need the oh wow statement. I want the yeah statement. Here's the closest I come to the oh wow statement, because this is the last thought that I'm going to leave you with. And this really, honestly, is not an oh wow statement. Plus, students would look good doing it. Doesn't all of this kind of sum up my arguments about why we shouldn't have to wear uniforms? Couple of things mechanically I want you to notice. I restate the thesis statement using different words. I offer 4 opinions that the proof has already been done. And ladies and gentlemen, that's my conclusion. Zerica, does that make sense? I think it was. I'm coming back down to the bottom. Hold on. There are times. Okay, if you have the problem starting it off, restate the thesis statement using just different words. That's the easiest way to start off the. Y'all know how I talked about the introduction being a funnel. You start off with that real broad statement and you work it way down to a very pointed statement. The conclusion is almost the opposite. Um, it's a mountain. You start off at the top, and as you write down, you get to bigger and broader statements. But it's statements that you've already proved. Now, the conclusion, look, the easiest 3 paragraphs to write are bodies. We're used to everything we write pretty much is body paragraphs, or what would be the equivalent of a body paragraph. The introduction and the conclusion, because they are different, prove to be the most challenging. The best thing I can tell you about the conclusion is just remember that at this point in time, you have proven everything that you need to prove to win the argument. And you've got to write with a confidence, almost an arrogance. Give me a yep if that makes sense. Okay. Now, if you get stuck on it, anybody gets stuck on it, I will be more than happy to kind of read what you're doing and help you out with it. Okay. I do want to show you one other thing real quick. Inside of today's Schoology, you see this piece of paper right here, or not piece of paper, but it would be a piece of paper printed out for you if y'all were in face-to-face. Okay. Now, guys, all of these marks right over here, these are kind of very common marks for proofreading and editing. Now, here is the analogy that I've kind of used all day with people talking about proofreading and editing. Every year, I have kids that feel like that once they get their rough drafts done, that they're done. All they've got to do now is basically just get a clean sheet of paper and try to make it as neat as what they can to rewrite their final copy. Give me a yep if you've done that before. Okay. Let me talk philosophically again. Okay. If you have worked as hard on this 5-paragraph essay as what I believe most of you have, then even if it wasn't necessarily enjoyable because I don't like writing, most of you at least probably feel very proud of yourselves right now because you've done something that you should take pride in. You've worked hard on it. Give me a yep if that makes sense. Give me a yep if you're proud of what you've done so far. So here's my analogy. I want you to assume for a second that it is Friday night. You're going to the mall, you're going to the movies, you're going somewhere with a group of friends, and you have picked out the perfect outfit to go. And you are going with the right people. You are looking forward to it. You feel good, you look good, you're taking pride in everything you do. Would you brush your hair before you left? Doesn't that even sound like a silly question? Would you brush your hair? Of course you would. Proofreading and editing is the equivalent of brushing your hair. See, picking out the uniform, not the uniform, picking out the clothes that you're going to wear, making the plans, that's all the hard work. Brushing your hair basically just makes it a little bit more presentable, makes you a little bit more presentable. You know, I'm to the age now before I go out, if my wife and I are going to have a nice date night, I'm going to go iron my pants and iron my shirt. I don't know if y'all iron your stuff or not. Maybe just throw it in the dry. But my wife wouldn't like going out with me, even if it was a nice restaurant and I'm going to spend lots of money if I didn't look presentable. Take some time and actually proofread and edit your paper. Now, before you proofread and edit your paper, one suggestion that I have is walk away from it for a little while and come back with fresh eyes. Read it like it's somebody else's paper. Let mom or dad or aunt or uncle or grandma or grandpa read it and just see if it makes sense to them. If they stop because there's a sentence that doesn't make sense, then look at it and see, okay, how can I change the wording? What do I need to do? Is my period in the wrong place? Do I need to add a comma? Whether it's grammar or wording, see what you need to do to fix it. Now, I've said this from day one. A rough draft should not be a clean piece of paper. A rough draft should be written and scratched and everything else. If you did it on paper, I would even suggest that when you do your proofreading and your editing, that you do it with a different colored pen, pencil, marker, whatever. Give me a yep if that makes sense. Once you have made your corrections, then you're ready to actually put it in as a final copy. Now, I told y'all earlier that tomorrow will be the day that I open up the assessment for you to put the final copy in. Now, if you are doing this on your computer, like a lot of you probably are, and you have typed it inside of a Microsoft Word document, you can very easily just copy and paste that final paper that you've already done inside of the assessment. Just make sure that it keeps its format, okay? Make sure that you're indenting. Make sure that between paragraphs you are putting one space, if that makes sense. But tomorrow I will open up the assessment for you to finish this off. If you are on time, if you have done everything that you were supposed to do with me on the timeline that I have asked you to do, then right now the only thing you have left to write is your conclusion. And then you have to proofread and edit. Proofread means figure out what you've got to change. Edit means actually making the changes. Okay? The rest of the time today, I'm going to give you to write your conclusion, and I'm also going to give you to start your proofreading and editing. What the kids in my class at face-to-face today have done is they basically today was their proofread and edit day. So today I will probably give y'all some time to proofread and edit tomorrow before you start typing. Okay. But tomorrow is submit day if you are on time. If you are not on time, then get it done. Because after tomorrow, I will not spend any class time on this paper. Doesn't mean I won't answer individual questions. Doesn't mean that it's too late to turn it in. However, make sure you understand May the 14th is a hard deadline for these essays. And the reason that is I've got to have time to grade them before fourth quarter ends. Now, what questions do you have? Okay. I'm going to assume, because nobody put anything in, that there are no questions right now. Now, yesterday was a weird day. Today, the first 15 minutes were weird because, again, there's just a lot going on the campus right now, trying to get stuff prepared for the end of the school year. Not to mention that yesterday I didn't show the conclusion because a lot of people, I tell you what, Zerica, I will share it in just a second. I will put it back up. Just bear with me just a second. And again, with my conclusion, use it as a model, but I don't give permission for you to use it for yours. Okay, I want you to use your own ideas. You don't need my ideas. Okay. If you need my ideas, then neither one of us have done our job very well. Okay. Use it as a model. I want you to use it as a model, but let it be your thoughts. Okay. All right. Y'all know I'm long-winded. I'm going to hush. I'm going to mute myself. I'm going to share the conclusion again because I was asked to, and I'm going to let y'all work. If you have questions on anything, you can public it, make it for everyone, or you can private ask me. I'll try not to put anybody on blast when I answer their questions. Okay. All right. Get busy. All right. It's up there. Y'all work hard. Let me know what I can do to help you. Okay. The only reason I put this thesis statement down at the bottom there was just for your sake to see what my thesis statement was, for you to see how I restated it using different words. I do not need you to put the thesis statement at the bottom of your conclusion.